Welcome back, everyone. Before we dive in, make sure you drop your thoughts and the lessons you took from this story in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's get into it. My name is Amara Jenkins, and the night before my rehearsal dinner, I woke up to my dead grandmother screaming at me in a dream. "Cancel your wedding. Go to his mother's house now." I jolted upright, my heart punching my ribs, sweat cold on my back. When I blinked, I could still see Grandma Lottie at the foot of my bed, her face twisted in terror, her dark hand pointing toward the door as if the devil himself was standing behind it. I should have been asleep beside my fiancé, Damon Carter, dreaming about our wedding 3 weeks away. Instead, the space beside me was empty, just a dent in the mattress and the faint smell of his cologne. Damon had said he was working late at the office, finishing investment portfolios for a client overseas. I had believed him because I always believed him. But you do not ignore a warning from Grandma Lottie, especially when she was the only one who had ever truly seen me. I threw a trench coat over my thin pajamas, grabbed my keys, and drove through the quiet Atlanta streets on instinct alone. I ran 2 red lights, guided by a knot of dread in my stomach that tightened with every mile toward his mother's house. The storm rolling in off the Atlantic had turned the air cold and wet, the kind of bone-deep chill that made you feel like you were walking through a graveyard, even on a suburban street. I parked 2 blocks away, behind an overflowing dumpster, and crept through a neighbor's yard like a thief. Ms. Bernice Carter's house sat in darkness, except for a flickering porch light. I crouched behind a cluster of overgrown bushes in the backyard, rain soaking my hair and pajamas through the open coat. My hands shook so badly I had to grip a branch to keep steady. I kept telling myself I was crazy, that I would see Damon working at a laptop in the kitchen. Then the back door opened. Damon stepped out onto the patio in sweatpants and a t-shirt, not a suit. His shoulders were relaxed, his walk easy, like he was at home. He was not alone. A woman followed him, hood up, clinging to his arm with the kind of familiarity that made bile rise in my throat. This was not a client. This was not business. Damon leaned down and kissed her, slow and possessive, his hand resting on her waist like it belonged there. "Go on, babe," Damon said, his voice low but clear in the quiet yard. "Amara is knocked out on those allergy pills I gave her. She would not wake up if a marching band came through the bedroom." The woman laughed softly. She pushed back her hood to fix her hair, and the street lamp lit up her profile. It was not a stranger. It was Tiana Brooks, my best friend since high school, and my maid of honor, the woman who was supposed to hold my bouquet while I said I do. My knees gave out and hit the mud. I watched, numb, as Tiana climbed into the car I had helped her put a down payment on when she lost her job last year. She blew Damon a kiss and backed out of the driveway. I wanted to run at them, to scream until my throat tore, but I stayed crouched in the dark because Damon's phone lit up in his hand. He lit a cigarette I never knew he smoked and made a call that turned my heartbreak into terror. "Yeah, she is gone," Damon said, his tone sharpening into something hard. "Make sure she takes the vitamins. I do not want any complications with the pregnancy. We need to keep her happy until the house is signed over. After the wedding, we can deal with the extra baggage then. Pregnancy, vitamins, house." The world tilted. I realized I was not only being cheated on, I was being hunted. When Damon went back inside, I moved to the trash cans lined up along the side of the garage. Tomorrow was trash day. If there were answers, they were going out with the garbage. I swallowed back nausea and lifted the lid, shining a tiny pharmacy keychain flashlight into the black bags. The first one was food scraps and wine bottles. The second bag was lighter. Inside it, buried under junk mail, I found a crumpled pharmacy sack stuffed with empty boxes. Prenatal vitamins, folic acid. At the bottom, wrapped in a paper towel, was a digital pregnancy test. 2 pink lines. Positive. My hands shook so badly I almost dropped it. Tiana was pregnant with my fiancé's child. Under the boxes was a thick, torn envelope. I smoothed the pieces under the flashlight beam and felt the blood drain from my face. It was a draft of a quitclaim deed, grantor Amara Jenkins. Grantees Damon Carter and Bernice Carter. In the margins, in Damon's handwriting, were sloppy practice versions of my signature. Before I could process that, the kitchen light clicked on above me. I ducked behind the cans and pressed myself against the wet brick. The window slid up. Ms. Bernice's raspy voice floated out into the rain. "I know. Damon is on his way back to her now. He said Tiana is being emotional. Hormones." She paused, listening. Yes, I told him Amara has to sign that prenup waiver today. We cannot have her protecting that inheritance. My heart pounded in my ears. Then she said something that froze my blood. Do not worry, baby. Once the house is ours, you will get your cut. Just keep playing the bratty little sister. Keep her distracted with drama, so she does not focus on the finances. Make sure mom and dad stay on your side and keep pressuring her to cash out those stocks for your wedding gift. Damon has it under control. Okay, Aisha, go back to sleep. Aisha, my little sister, my own blood. I waited until the window closed and the light went out. I did not cry. The tears had dried up and left a cold, heavy anger in my chest. I shoved the torn deed and pharmacy receipt into my coat pocket and stumbled back to my car. I could not go home yet. I needed to see exactly how deep the knife went. So I drove, rain streaking down the windshield, straight to my parents' small house on the other side of Atlanta, the one where I had been invisible unless they needed a bill paid. It was just after 7 when I let myself in with the spare key. My mother stood at the stove in her robe, stirring sugar into her coffee. My father sat at the table reading the paper. Neither moved to hug me. Amara, what are you doing here? You look a mess, my mother said, frowning at my hair. Wedding stress, I croaked. Could not sleep. My father grunted without looking up. You are lucky Damon puts up with that anxiety. He is a good man. A provider. A provider. The word tasted like poison. Then Aisha walked in, fresh-faced in a silk pajama set I had bought her. Around her neck was a delicate diamond pendant. My stomach dropped. 2 weeks ago, Damon had come home upset, saying a necklace he bought for his mother had been stolen from his gym locker. I had comforted him. I had offered him money to replace it. The stolen necklace was gleaming on my sister's collarbone. Nice necklace, I said, my voice steady. Is that new? Aisha's hand flew to her throat. Oh, this? My boyfriend gave it to me. The oil guy I told you about, she said quickly. He is private. My mother beamed. It is beautiful. Speaking of gifts, have you thought more about helping with Aisha's trip? She has been under so much stress. A few weeks in New Orleans would be such a blessing. With that big house your grandmother left you and Damon being so successful, I am sure you can help your family. And Damon says family is everything to him, Aisha added, smirking. He told me that just yesterday. Yesterday, when his mother promised her a cut. When she called her baby. Every face at that table held a knife. I will think about it, I lied. I have to go. Damon is waiting. As I reached the door, my mother called. Make sure you apologize for running off. You do not want to lose a catch like that. The latch clicking behind me sounded like a tomb sealing shut. I drove home on autopilot and parked down the block from my townhouse. My townhouse, though Damon liked to say ours. When I saw the bathroom light flick on upstairs, I knew he was in the shower. I let myself in. The table was set for breakfast. Bacon, eggs, a single red rose, and a note. Good morning, my love. Sorry I worked so late. Let us make today amazing. It looked like a stage set for a commercial. I went upstairs. His phone lay on the nightstand. Damon was obsessive about his phone. He claimed it was for client confidentiality, but I now knew better. I had seen his passcode once. 2-5-8-0, a straight line down the keypad. I entered it with shaking fingers. It unlocked. I opened his messaging app. At the top was a pinned group chat labeled VA Team. Inside were messages between Damon, Ms. Bernice, Tiana, Aisha, and a contact saved as C. Benson Esq. I scrolled to the night before. Damon, the eagle has landed. Tiana is gone. Amara is still out cold. This stuff puts her out for hours. Tiana, I hate sneaking around. I want to be the one in that house. My back is killing me. The baby is kicking. Aisha, stop complaining. You are getting the nice townhouse after the settlement. I just want my trip. And the necklace fits perfectly, thanks. Ms. Bernice, focus. The wedding is in 3 weeks. We need her to sign those trust documents Friday. Tell her it is for taxes. Then Damon, she will sign. She trusts me completely. Once we are married, spousal rights kick in. If something unfortunate happens on the honeymoon, the house and life insurance will be ours. The attorney, make sure the accident looks genuine. Mountain trails in Colorado are dangerous. Slippery cliffs. My vision blurred. They were planning to marry me, strip me, and push me off a cliff. The shower cut off. I exited the app, wiped the phone with my sleeve, and dropped back into bed, pretending to sleep. Damon sat on the edge of the mattress, stroking my hair. "Wake up, sleepyhead," he murmured. I let my eyes flutter open, forcing my voice to sound groggy. I looked up into the calm, dark eyes of the man who had just discussed my murder. "I do not feel well," I whispered. "My allergies and my stomach." Annoyance flickered across his face before he masked it. "You cannot be sick, babe. We have the dress fitting with Tiana and Aisha later. They are counting on you." "I will rally," I said. "I just need a few hours." When he went downstairs to make tea, I locked the bathroom door and slid onto the tile floor with my phone. I needed help. Not from my family, not from anyone who loved the idea of Damon more than me. I remembered a name my grandmother had mentioned years ago, a retired detective who became a private investigator. Leonard Hayes. She had once said, "If anyone ever tries to play you, call Leonard. He knows how to deal with snakes." I searched his name, found his website, and texted the number listed. "This is Grandma Lottie's granddaughter. It is an emergency," he replied within minutes. "Meet me at the diner on Peachtree in 1 hour. Come alone. Do not let him see you." I pulled myself together, dressed in jeans and a blazer, and came downstairs. Damon looked surprised to see me ready. "I thought you were resting." "I took some medicine," I said, grabbing my purse. "I need to run a few errands before the fitting. I need to pick up feminine products." He cringed and backed off, as I knew he would. The diner was old and smelled like coffee and fried onions. Leonard sat in a back booth with his back to the wall. He was a dark-skinned man in his 60s with white hair, a lined face, and steady eyes that missed nothing. He slid a manila folder across the table. "You were right to call me," he said. "Your fiancé is not who he says he is." Inside was a mugshot of Damon, younger and meaner, under the name Marcus Hill. There were also records under different names in other states. "He targets women with inheritances," Leonard explained. "He finds someone grieving or lonely, moves in, gets access to assets, and then they vanish. One wife in Nevada died of an overdose after signing a big life insurance policy. The family never believed it was an accident." My skin crawled. "He is planning to kill me on our honeymoon in Colorado," I said. "I saw the messages. His mother, my sister, my best friend, they are all involved." Leonard swore under his breath. "Then this is more than fraud. This is a murder conspiracy. Screenshots alone are not enough. We need audio, video, confessions." Leonard handed me a tiny recorder and an even smaller camera disguised as a decorative cube. "Put the bug where they talk freely, and this camera in your living room pointed at the couch. Can you get a bug into a place where Tiana and Aisha will talk?" "Our bridal salon appointment today," I said. "Damon usually waits in the car. They gossip when I step out." Leonard nodded. "Good. And one more thing, Amara. Do not eat or drink anything that man hands you. Switch plates if you have to." I thought about the vitamins and nodded. "I am a pharmacist," I said. "I know what real vitamins look like." At the bridal salon, layers of tulle and lace made the air feel sugary and fake. Tiana, her brown skin glowing despite the strain on her face, was squeezed into a mauve bridesmaid dress one size too small, her small belly just starting to show. Aisha scrolled on her phone, complaining about her feet. I set my purse on the sofa, the recorder aimed toward them. "Sorry I am late," I said brightly. "Traffic. I have news." Both women looked up, eyes sharpening with greed before they could hide it. "The executor of Grandma's estate called this morning," I lied. "Apparently there was a separate trust tied up in probate. Oil royalties from some land in rural Georgia. It just cleared." "How much?" Aisha asked instantly. $2 million, I whispered. The room went silent. "But there is a catch. The trust says it only pays out once I am legally married, and my husband has to sign a document acknowledging the funds are entering the marriage." Tiana's jaw tightened. "Does Damon know?" "Not yet," I said. "I want to surprise him tonight." I promised Aisha a fancy girls trip after the money hit and offered Tiana a $10,000 bonus for her help with the wedding. 10,000 was crumbs compared to 2 million, and jealousy flashed across her face. She excused herself to the restroom, clutching her phone. I slipped out to the hallway, connected my earbuds to the recorder in my purse, and listened. "Did you know about the oil money?" Tiana hissed when Damon answered. $2 million, Damon. You told me the house was worth 500,000. If we were going to kill her, the price just went up. I want half, or I go to the police." Damon's voice came through calm and cold. "This is good news. It just means the payout is bigger. Stick to the plan. Keep her happy. Once she signs the marriage license." Those funds become community property. Then we take our trip. She owns nothing. She is a walking bank card, and her PIN number is about to expire. I had them. Murder spoken out loud. I went back in, smiling like my heart was not pounding. Everything okay? I asked. Tiana forced a shaky smile. Just happy tears for you, she said. The fear in her eyes told me she knew exactly what she was doing. That evening, Damon met me at the door of the townhouse, practically buzzing. Tiana mentioned some news about the estate, he said lightly. I told him the same story about the oil trust and the condition that my husband had to sign an affidavit. I will sign it, he said too quickly. Whatever we need to secure our future. The trustee wants it signed tomorrow, I said, letting that sink in. His greed was a leash. The more he wanted, the longer I had to move. He insisted we celebrate at an expensive steakhouse. At the table, he ordered my favorite chocolate mousse and kept sliding my vitamins toward me, watching to see if I took them. Halfway through, my phone buzzed with a text from Leonard. Lab ran your pills. Not vitamins. Benzodiazepines and low-dose arsenic. Do not eat dessert. My stomach lurched. Damon pushed the mousse closer. Come on, babe. Live a little. You have good news. I forced a tired smile. I am too full. Let us take it home. The promise of the affidavit distracted him. Back at home that night, I flushed the fake vitamins down the toilet and replaced them with real ones that looked identical. The next day, Leonard and I met in a parking lot across town. He showed me the lab report. The benzodiazepines explained the fog and exhaustion I had felt for months. The arsenic would have built up in my system until one slip on a mountain trail could be blamed on weakness. We have more than enough to arrest Damon, Leonard said. But if we grab him now, his mother, your sister, and Tiana will all claim they knew nothing. Do you want only him to go down? Rage burned away the last of my fear. No, I said. I want all of them. Leonard pulled out motel surveillance photos of Damon and Tiana together and offered to create a fake bank transfer screenshot showing money going from Damon to Tiana. We use Aisha's weakness, I said. If she thinks they are cutting her out, she will explode. That night, while Damon showered, I used the burner phone Leonard gave me to send Aisha the photos and a doctored transfer image, with a message. He is taking the money and running with her. You get nothing. Then I sat on the couch in the living room, camera hidden in the plant blinking red, and waited. 20 minutes later, someone pounded on the front door so hard the walls shook. Damon, still in a towel, ran downstairs. Aisha burst in past him, mascara streaked, phone in hand. You liar, she screamed, shoving the screen into his chest. You told me she was just a pawn. You promised once you got the house and insurance you would leave Tiana, that we would travel, that I would get my condo. On camera, in crystal clarity, she spilled everything. Damon dragged her toward the kitchen, hissing at her to calm down, but she would not. I gave you the keys to Grandma's house so you could copy them, she cried. I am the one who keeps Amara busy, so she will not look too closely at the accounts. Without me, you would still be sleeping in your car, Marcus. She used his real name. I stood in the doorway, pretending to be shocked, letting the camera drink it in. Damon slapped her across the face. The sound snapped through the room. Shut up, he snarled. You say one more word and the deal is off. No trip. No money. For once, Aisha's greed overpowered her temper. She glared at me instead. You are pathetic, she spat. You think he loves you? We all just see dollar signs when you walk in the room. She stormed out, slamming the door. Damon turned to me, trying to reshape his face into concern. Baby, she is unstable. You know how she is. She is jealous, making things up. I let tears form, made my shoulders shake. I do not know what to believe, I whispered. Just sign the affidavit tomorrow so we can get the money and get away. He relaxed, hugging me. Over his shoulder, I looked at the tiny camera light and knew we had enough to bury them. Leonard collected the footage that night. This alone is worth 20 years, he said. Add the vitamin report and the group chat audio, and the prosecutor will think it is a gift. I want them exposed in front of everyone, I said. Not just locked up quietly. They used my love and my family against me. I want the mask off in public. Leonard hesitated. That is dangerous. The wedding is in 2 days. I know, I said. I want you and the police at the church hidden. Let me draw them into the light. The rehearsal dinner at an upscale midtown restaurant felt like a funeral. My parents sat rigid, trying to impress Damon. Aisha drank martinis behind dark glasses, the bruise on her cheek obvious. Tiana picked at her food, her hand resting on her small stomach. Ms. Bernice preened beside Damon in a shimmering silver dress. When dessert was served, I stood up. "I have a few gifts," I said. I could not wait until morning. I handed Ms. Bernice a gift bag with a framed copy of an old check fraud mugshot Leonard had pulled from another state's records. Her smile froze. "Such a strong resemblance," I said sweetly. "We all have pasts, right?" I gave Tiana a tiny box with blue baby shoes. She dropped them on her plate, color draining from her face. "Just a feeling," I said. "I dreamed you would be a mother soon, maybe with someone tall and engaged." For Damon, I handed a long box with a diving watch engraved on the back. June 3rd, 2019, she did not slip. The date of his previous wife's accidental death. He went nearly translucent reading it. "What does the date mean?" he asked, voice thin. "It is the day we met," I lied smoothly. "You did not forget, did you?" He could not contradict me in front of my parents without revealing himself. He swallowed hard. "Of course not." The rest of the night was strained silence and suspicious glares, but no one dared confront me directly. Outside afterward, Damon grabbed my arm. "What was that?" he hissed. "The watch. That picture." I pulled free. "Just sentimental gifts," I said. "I will see you at the altar, Marcus." His eyes widened at the name. "My name is Damon." "Right," I said, getting into my car. Slip of the tongue. The morning of the wedding was gray and heavy. In the bridal suite at the church, a makeup artist layered foundation onto my dark skin while I watched myself in the mirror. I looked calm, even beautiful, like a bride in a magazine spread. Inside, I was steel. Tiana steamed my veil in the corner, eyes puffy. Aisha sat with her arms crossed, her attitude muted by fear. My mother drifted in and out, weeping about her nerves. My father arrived to walk me down the aisle, grumbling about the cost of everything. "Do you love me, Dad?" I asked suddenly. He blinked. "Of course. You are my daughter. More than you love what I can pay for." I pressed. "This wedding cost a fortune, Amara," he snapped. "Do not start drama." That was my answer. I let him take my arm. The organ began to play. The doors opened. 200 guests turned to watch us walk toward the altar, toward the man waiting at the front in a tuxedo, smiling like a saint and thinking like a predator. Damon looked perfect. Dark skin, sharp jaw, bow tie straight, hands folded loosely in front of him. Only his eyes betrayed him, flicking from me to the exits, to the crowd, back to me. I reached him, handed my bouquet to Tiana, and took his hands. The pastor began the ceremony, speaking about love and faithfulness. The words felt like a joke. I waited, heart counting each second, for the one part of the ceremony that mattered. "If anyone here has just cause why these two should not be joined in holy matrimony," the pastor said, "speak now or forever hold your peace." Most weddings pass this line in comfortable silence. Mine did not. I slipped my hands out of Damon's and turned toward the congregation. I took the microphone from the stand. The feedback squealed. "I do," I said clearly. "I object." Murmurs rippled through the pews. Damon grabbed for the microphone. "Amara, what are you doing?" he hissed. I stepped away. Damon wanted my grandmother's house. He wanted a fake oil inheritance. He wanted my life insurance. And he was planning to kill me on our honeymoon to get it all. Gasps exploded from the crowd. "Hank," I said, using Leonard's old nickname out of habit, "roll it." The lights dimmed and the projector screen above the altar lit up with video. First, the footage of Damon slapping Aisha in my living room played, his voice snarling as she screamed about the house, the insurance, and the promise to leave Tiana after the money. Then the recording from the bridal salon played, Tiana's voice shaking as she said, "If we are going to kill her, the price just went up. I am carrying your child." Damon's reply followed. "She is a walking bank card, and her PIN number is about to expire." Finally, Ms. Bernice's voice filled the church, talking about making sure my meds looked normal and how mountain trails could be dangerous. When the screen went dark, silence crashed down. Damon stood frozen, mouth open, eyes wild. Ms. Bernice lunged to her feet, shouting that it was fake. Aisha covered her face. Tiana slid to the floor, sobbing. Leonard stepped from the side aisle in a security vest with several police officers behind him. "Everyone remain seated," he called. Damon's survival instinct kicked in. Instead of surrendering, he lunged toward me. He yanked a knife from inside his jacket, grabbed me from behind, and pressed the blade against my throat. The congregation screamed. "Back off," he shouted at the officers, dragging me backward toward a side door. "I walk out of here with her, or she dies right here." I felt the cold metal bite into my skin, a thin line of heat blooming where it nicked me. Leonard stepped forward, gun low. "Think about it," he said calmly. "You are facing fraud and conspiracy. You might see daylight again. You add murder, this state will put you down." "She ruined me," Damon snarled. "I am dead anyway." His grip tightened. The church blurred at the edges of my vision. I heard my grandmother's voice in my head, steady and firm. "If a man grabs you from behind, baby, do not pull away. Step in." I forced myself to breathe and shifted my weight. Then I drove my heel down as hard as I could on his foot. He yelled, his arm loosening for a fraction of a second. I slammed the back of my head into his nose. The crunch made people flinch. His hand jerked away from my throat. I spun around and kicked him between the legs with everything I had. Damon dropped to his knees, the knife clattering to the floor. Officers rushed in, pulling me back and pinning him to the carpet. Handcuffs clicked. People cried and shouted. My mother wailed. My father looked ready to fight Damon himself. Ms. Bernice struggled as another officer cuffed her. Tiana sobbed uncontrollably. Aisha stared at the floor, shoulders shaking. Damon twisted to stare at me as they dragged him up. Blood streamed from his nose onto his perfect tuxedo. His voice was hoarse. "Who are you?" he asked. "You are not the Amara I knew." I met his eyes. "You never knew me," I said quietly. "The woman you thought you were hunting died the night I found you in a trash can. This is the one who survived." They led him out of the church to a waiting patrol car. A strange, scattered applause broke out behind me, but I did not feel like a hero. I felt tired. I walked down from the altar to my parents and sister. "Who wants to explain first?" I asked. My mother reached for me, still crying. "Amara, you are bleeding. Are you all right?" "Do not touch me," I said. "Aisha, stand up." She rose slowly, looking smaller than I had ever seen her. "I did not know he was going to kill you," she whispered. "I swear. I thought he would just divorce you and take half. I just wanted the trip. I just wanted to be included." "You wanted to be included in stealing from your sister," I said. "You slept with my fiancé and helped him try to take Grandma's house. My father insisted they had no idea about the murder plan, only that it made sense for me to help my sister. You raised her to believe my money was hers," I said. "You taught her that my work was her safety net. You did not protect me. You offered me up. An officer came to ask me to come to the station to give a statement. I went, still in my ruined white dress, leaving my family sitting in the pew like strangers. Over the following months, the case was everywhere. The pharmacist bride who caught her fiancé's murder plot. The footage from the church was played on every news station. Damon tried to claim the recordings were fake, blamed mental illness, blamed everyone but himself. It did not work. Between the video, the lab reports on the pills, the forged deed from Ms. Bernice's trash, and the group chat data, the jury did not take long. Damon was convicted of attempted capital murder, fraud, and conspiracy and sentenced to 25 years without parole. Ms. Bernice received 15 years for her part in the scheme and prior fraud cases Leonard dug up in other states. Attorney Carla Benson was arrested for her role in drafting fraudulent documents and advising on the accident. Tiana took a plea deal for her cooperation and received probation and community service. She had a baby boy while the case was pending. I heard she named him Damien after his father's last persona. I did not go to see her. I did not answer her letters. Aisha was charged with theft and conspiracy related to the stolen necklace and the plan to pressure me into selling assets. But I chose not to press every possible charge. Instead, I told the prosecutor I wanted her to face consequences that did not give my parents a new reason to beg me for money. She ended up with a record and probation. I cut my parents off financially. No more tuition. No more mortgage help. No more trips. For the first time in her life, my sister had to get a job and keep it. I could not stay in Atlanta. Every grocery run turned into someone recognizing me, whispering, asking questions. I sold the townhouse. I sold the engagement ring, which turned out to be a cheap fake stone. Letting go of Grandma Lottie's Victorian house was harder, but that building had become a target on my back. I found a young black couple with 2 little girls who wanted to restore it and raise their family there. They reminded me of what a real home could look like. I handed them the keys and walked away. With the money from the sales and my savings, I looked at a map and chose a new start. I wanted somewhere cooler, green, and rainy, where the air felt like a reset. I moved to Seattle and took a position at a neighborhood pharmacy while I planned my next step. Within a year, I opened a small compounding pharmacy of my own in a quiet district. I called it Lottie Apothecary. The sign over the door made me cry the first time I flipped it from closed to open. My customers are neighbors now, not predators. Older women come in to ask about blood pressure medication. Young parents bring their children and send them to the counter with coins to buy vitamins. I walk to work in the drizzle, breathe in pine and salt from the water instead of heavy storm air that smells like secrets. My apartment is small, with a view of the Sound, but when I turn the key in the lock, I know every bill behind that door was paid by me for me. I have not dated. Men ask sometimes, customers or delivery drivers or people I meet at the coffee shop, but I am not ready. I am still learning to trust my own judgment again, to listen to the voice inside me that tried to warn me long before my grandmother appeared in that dream. Some nights I still wake up with my heart racing, feeling a phantom knife at my throat. I reach for the taser Leonard gave me as a wedding gift and remind myself that Damon is locked away, and so are the people who helped him. One night, almost a year after the trial ended, I dreamed of Grandma again. We were on the porch of her old house, only now it looked brighter, the paint fresh, the garden alive with color. She rocked in her chair, dark hands wrapped around a glass of iced tea. "You did well, baby," she said. "You cleaned house." "I lost everyone," I said. "My parents, my sister, my best friend." "You did not lose them," she answered. "You just took out the trash. Now you have room." I woke up smiling instead of crying. Later that day, my phone went to voicemail while I was helping a customer. When I checked it that evening, there was a message from an unknown number. It was Aisha. Her voice sounded older, tired. She wished me a happy birthday, said she was a manager at a chain restaurant now, said she was saving for her own apartment. She said she missed me and understood if I never called back. I listened twice. Then I saved the message and put the phone down. Maybe one day I will call her. Maybe forgiveness will grow in the empty place where obligation used to live. But not now. Now I am learning what it feels like to belong only to myself. I lock up the shop at night, turn off the lights, and walk home under the street lamps and drizzle, my keys between my fingers out of habit. My name is Amara Jenkins. I was a victim. Then I was a survivor. Now I am simply free. If you enjoyed this story, please like, comment, and share this video with your friends. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a powerful story drop.